Have you ever wondered what dark secrets lurk behind the glitz and glamour of Hollywood? Imagine a night so charged with mystery and suspense that even the legendary Denzel Washington, known for his commanding presence on screen, finds himself drawn into a vortex of danger and intrigue. In the next few minutes, you will journey through a story so captivating and intense that you won't be able to look away. This is a narrative that defies expectations, a secret that could shatter the image of an industry built on illusion. Stay with me until the very end, and make sure you subscribe so you do not miss tomorrow's explosive new chapter. Scene 1. It was a cool, restless night in Los Angeles, a city that never truly sleeps, where the neon lights blur with the darkness of secrets hidden in every corner. Denzel Washington had just wrapped up another grueling day of filming on a project that demanded every ounce of his talent. His face, chiseled by decades of portraying heroes and legends, now bore the marks of a man deeply engaged with his craft. Yet, on this night, as he stepped off the set and into the cool embrace of the city, an unexpected force was already beginning to weave its mysterious spell around him. Denzel's journey began on an unusually foggy evening. The streets were slick with recent rain, and the reflective glow of street lamps turned the asphalt into rivers of light and shadow. As he strolled along a quiet boulevard lined with palm trees and vintage neon signs, his thoughts were still immersed in the emotional depths of his latest role. His mind replayed scenes of triumph and sorrow, the echoes of dialogues blending with the hum of the urban night. In that reflective solitude, Denzel sought a moment of peace, a brief escape from the relentless pace of his public life. However, fate had other plans. As he passed an old, abandoned warehouse in a forgotten part of the city, a subtle sound, almost imperceptible, caught his attention. At first, it was a faint murmur, like the rustling of leaves in a hidden breeze. But as he drew nearer, the sound grew distinct, a low, haunting whisper that seemed to emanate from the very walls of the decaying structure. The warehouse, once a thriving hub of industry, now stood as a silent relic, its broken windows and graffiti-covered walls speaking of days long past. Drawn by an irresistible curiosity, Denzel's steps slowed and his senses sharpened. The whisper became a series of hushed words, barely audible yet laden with meaning. He could almost make out the phrase, "Follow the truth," as if the night itself was urging him to uncover a mystery that lay hidden beneath the veneer of normalcy. Intrigued and unable to resist the call, Denzel approached the warehouse. Every creak of the old metal door, every echo in the empty space, heightened his anticipation and apprehension. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with dust and forgotten memories. Shafts of moonlight pierced through the broken roof, illuminating scattered remnants of the past, old film reels, discarded props, and a weathered diary resting atop a rickety table. With trembling hands, Denzel reached for the diary. Its cracked leather cover and faded inscriptions hinted at secrets that transcended time, a record of confessions, warnings, and revelations. The diary told a story of an underground network, a covert group of individuals determined to expose hidden truths buried deep within Hollywood's heart. As Denzel flipped through the fragile pages, he discovered cryptic messages that mentioned names, dates, and events long shrouded in mystery. The words leaped off the page, painting a picture of conspiracies and power struggles that had silently influenced the course of cinematic history. The whisper in the night grew louder, as if encouraging him to delve deeper. Denzel, follow the truth. It repeated, each syllable resonating with an urgency that made his pulse quicken. The voice was neither threatening nor gentle. It was an echo of destiny, a call to arms. At that moment, the air around him seemed to crackle with electricity. Shadows danced along the walls, and the boundary between reality and the supernatural blurred. Lost in thought, Denzel was interrupted by a sudden movement, a flicker of light that darted behind a stack of old crates. His instincts, honed over years in front of and behind the camera, told him that he was not alone. A figure emerged from the darkness, a man clad in a long, dark coat, his face hidden under the brim of a hat. The stranger's eyes, piercing and intense, seemed to hold the weight of countless secrets. "Who are you?" Denzel demanded, his voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through him. The stranger smiled faintly, a look of enigmatic knowing etched into his expression. "I have been waiting for you, Mr. Washington," he said in a measured tone. "There is much you do not know about the world you inhabit. A world where truth is masked by illusion and every shadow conceals a hidden agenda." Before Denzel could react further, the man reached into his coat and produced a small, intricately carved key. "This key," he explained, "unlocks not just a door, but the secrets that have long been suppressed. You have been chosen to uncover a story that will redefine your understanding of Hollywood and power itself." The words sent a shiver down Denzel's spine. The diary, the key, the enigmatic message. It was all part of a puzzle that he had unknowingly been destined to solve. With a mix of trepidation and determination, he accepted the key, its cool metal weight a tangible reminder of the responsibility he now bore. The encounter, brief yet profoundly impactful, marked the beginning of a journey that would lead him deep into a labyrinth of conspiracies, betrayals, and revelations that threatened to shatter the world he had known. Stepping back into the night, Denzel clutched the key and the diary close to his heart. The world around him, illuminated by the pale glow of the moon, seemed suddenly imbued with layers of meaning he had never noticed before. He vowed silently that he would follow the call, no matter where it led. The whisper of destiny echoed in his ears as he disappeared into the labyrinthine streets of Los Angeles, embarking on a quest that would push him to the very edge of his limits. Scene 2. The depths of intrigue. The days that followed were a blur of restless nights and frantic investigations. Denzel, once a celebrated actor known for his commanding presence on screen, had now transformed into a seeker of truth. The mysterious encounter at the warehouse had ignited a fire within him, a relentless determination to peel back the layers of deception that had enshrouded Hollywood for decades. Every moment of his free time was consumed by research. The diary's cryptic passages haunted him, each line suggesting a hidden narrative that intertwined with the lives of those in the entertainment industry. Denzel's investigation took him to the forgotten corners of old film archives, to the secret vaults of historic studios where dust-covered records lay in silent testimony to past glories and tragedies. It was as if the very foundations of Hollywood were built upon secrets too potent to remain buried. One rainy evening, in a dimly lit study filled with the scent of old paper and aged wood, Denzel sat surrounded by piles of documents. He meticulously examined handwritten notes, faded photographs, and newspaper clippings that chronicled incidents of sudden career collapses, mysterious disappearances, and unexplained shifts in the fortunes of some of the industry's most powerful figures. Each piece of evidence added another layer to a puzzle that was as intricate as it was dangerous. Determined to get to the heart of the mystery, Denzel reached out to Marcus, a former studio insider turned investigative journalist with a reputation for unearthing Hollywood's darkest secrets. Marcus had spent years navigating the clandestine corridors of the film industry, gathering evidence of a covert network rumored to control the destinies of stars and moguls alike. His contact information had been scribbled in the margins of the diary, a hidden clue left by someone who knew that Denzel was destined for this path. Their meeting was arranged at a small, inconspicuous coffee shop tucked away in a quieter district of Los Angeles. The establishment, with its worn leather chairs and vintage photographs adorning the walls, exuded an air of secrecy, a perfect backdrop for a conversation laden with conspiracies. As Denzel entered, the low murmur of hushed voices and the clinking of coffee cups created a subtle symphony of anonymity. Marcus was already there, seated at a corner table cluttered with files and a portable recorder. His eyes, sharp and alert, met Denzel's with an intensity that conveyed both caution and determination. Without any preamble, Marcus slid a thick envelope across the table. "You're not the only one who's been searching," he said in a low voice. This envelope contains documents that will change everything you think you know about our industry. Denzel opened the envelope with care, his fingers trembling as he unfolded layers of meticulously compiled evidence. Inside were detailed reports, internal memos, and a series of photographs that captured clandestine meetings in secluded locations. The images showed influential figures in hushed discussions, their faces partially obscured by shadows. A recurring symbol, a phoenix rising from flames, appeared in several documents, hinting at a hidden organization that had been manipulating events from behind the scenes. Over steaming cups of coffee, Marcus and Denzel pored over the evidence. Marcus explained that the phoenix symbol was a code name for an underground network that believed Hollywood was built on a foundation of manipulated narratives. They control the rise and fall of careers, Marcus confided. They decide which stories get told and which ones fade into obscurity. For them, truth is a commodity, and power is the ultimate currency. Denzel listened intently as Marcus recounted a series of chilling events. He spoke of influential executives who had vanished without a trace after daring to expose the truth, of promising actors whose careers were mysteriously derailed, and of secret meetings held in luxurious, hidden locations far from the prying eyes of the public. Each revelation was more staggering than the last, casting a long shadow over the glittering facade of Hollywood. The conversation took on an urgency that transcended casual curiosity. Denzel realized that the diary and the key were not mere coincidences. They were part of a deliberate design to awaken him to a hidden reality. The evidence pointed to a network so deeply embedded in the industry that its influence extended into every corner of Hollywood. It was a cabal of powerful individuals who used their wealth and influence to shape public perception, ensuring that only the approved narratives reached the masses. Days turned into weeks as Denzel and Marcus followed a trail of breadcrumbs that led them from one dark corner of the industry to another. They visited abandoned studios, secret archives, and even spoke to retired insiders who had once thrived in the world of film but had long since disappeared into obscurity. Each interview, each faded document, reinforced the notion that there was a truth hidden beneath layers of artifice and glamour. A truth that, if revealed, could dismantle the carefully constructed mythology of Hollywood. Late one stormy night, as rain pounded against the windows of his study, Denzel sat alone with his thoughts and the diary spread open before him. The pages seemed to whisper of destinies intertwined with sacrifice and the price of truth. In a moment of clarity, he realized that his journey was no longer just about unearthing secrets. It was about challenging the very fabric of an industry that thrived on deception. The determination in his eyes was mirrored by the resolute tone in his voice as he vowed to expose the hidden network, no matter the personal cost. The investigation had taken on a life of its own. With every new piece of evidence, Denzel felt the weight of responsibility settle upon him. He was no longer just an actor. He was a guardian of truth, a reluctant hero on a mission to bring light to a darkness that had long been tolerated. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but the burning desire for justice propelled him forward, step by relentless step. Scene 3. The final reckoning, the climax of Denzel's journey, arrived on a night that seemed to merge the glimmering opulence of Hollywood with the stark, cold reality of confrontation. A grand gala had been organized at one of the city's most prestigious venues, a dazzling event attended by the creme de la creme of the entertainment world. The atmosphere was electric, the air thick with both celebration and an undercurrent of tension that only those with secrets could sense. Denzel had received an anonymous invitation to the gala, one that hinted at a final meeting with the enigmatic figure known as Phoenix. The invitation bore an intricate design, the Phoenix symbol subtly embossed in gold, a silent challenge to anyone daring enough to question the status quo. As he arrived, dressed in an impeccably tailored suit that blended classic elegance with modern edge, he could feel eyes upon him. Every flash of a camera, every whispered remark among the glittering crowd reminded him that he was stepping into a world where appearances were everything, and every smile hid a potential threat. The venue was a masterpiece of contemporary design, its soaring ceilings and panoramic windows offering a breathtaking view of the Los Angeles skyline. Crystal chandeliers hung like constellations, and the soft murmur of conversations created a soothing yet unnerving soundtrack. But beneath the veneer of luxury, Denzel sensed the undercurrents of a storm about to break. He navigated the crowd with purposeful steps, his mind replaying the evidence and warnings that had led him here. It was time to confront the source of the darkness that had shadowed his every move. As he moved through the throng of elegantly dressed guests, his gaze locked onto a figure standing apart from the crowd, a tall, impeccably dressed man whose presence exuded both authority and mystery. This was Phoenix. The man's eyes, cold and calculating, met Denzel's across the room. There was no need for words. The intensity of the unspoken exchange conveyed years of hidden enmity and the weight of secrets too dangerous to share. Slowly, deliberately, Phoenix made his way toward Denzel. The murmurs in the crowd faded, replaced by an almost tangible silence that signified the gravity of the moment. When Phoenix reached Denzel, he extended a gloved hand in a gesture that was both formal and foreboding. "Mr. Washington," he intoned, his voice smooth as velvet yet edged with steel, "you have delved too deeply into matters that are best left untouched." Denzel's response was measured, his eyes burning with the conviction of a man who had seen too much to turn back. "I have a duty to reveal the truth," he declared. "Hollywood has hidden behind a mask of glitz and glamour for far too long. The secrets that have been kept in the shadows must be brought into the light." A murmur of shock rippled through the guests as Phoenix's expression darkened. "Some truths," he replied coolly, "are meant to be safeguarded. They preserve the delicate balance of power and protect the legacy of those who came before." What followed was not a mere exchange of words, but a battle of ideologies, a clash between the forces of transparency and the guardians of a clandestine order. In a secluded alcove away from the prying eyes of the media, the two men engaged in a verbal duel that resonated with the weight of history. Denzel recounted the evidence, the clandestine meetings, the whispers of conspiracy that had haunted him since that fateful night at the warehouse. Phoenix countered with arguments steeped in tradition and the notion that some mysteries were necessary for the preservation of art and legacy. The confrontation escalated as Phoenix revealed a truth that stunned Denzel to his core. Hidden within the documents and photographs was not just a story of manipulation and power, but an admission of guilt by some of the most revered names in the industry, figures whose contributions to cinema were immortalized on the silver screen. Phoenix argued that these individuals had, in their own way, sacrificed their personal integrity for the greater good of maintaining an industry that brought joy and wonder to millions. But Denzel saw it differently. To him, the truth was non-negotiable, a beacon that should never be dimmed by convenience or complicity. As the dialogue intensified, the atmosphere in the secluded corner grew charged with raw emotion. Denzel's voice rose with determination. "I cannot, and will not, stand aside while the truth is twisted to serve those in power. I must expose the corruption that has marred our industry for far too long, even if it means shattering the illusions that people have cherished for decades." Phoenix's eyes flashed with a mix of regret and defiance. "You have no idea of the consequences that follow when you disrupt the established order. There are forces at play that you cannot even begin to comprehend. The revelations you seek will not only alter Hollywood, but could unravel the very fabric of our society." For a long, heart-stopping moment, silence reigned. The future of Hollywood, and perhaps the very nature of truth itself, hung in the balance. The guests at the gala remained oblivious to the epic struggle unfolding in that hidden alcove, a battle that would determine whether the secrets of the past would be forever locked away or set free to change the course of history. In that defining moment, Denzel realized that his journey was far from over. The confrontation had ignited a spark that would transform him from a seeker of truth into a warrior against the pervasive darkness. With steely resolve, he made a vow, a promise to himself and to the countless souls who believed in the power of honesty. "I will bring this to light," he said quietly, his voice carrying the weight of destiny. "No matter what it takes." Phoenix's face softened momentarily, as if acknowledging the inevitability of change. "Then go forth, Mr. Washington, and be the harbinger of a new dawn," he whispered. And with that, the final confrontation reached its crescendo, leaving Denzel standing alone in a world that was forever altered by the collision of two opposing forces. As the gala resumed its glittering festivities, Denzel stepped out into the cool night air. The storm that had been building within him was far from over. With the evidence in hand and the truth burning in his heart, he knew that his quest had only just begun. The hidden network, the enigmatic Phoenix, and the tangled web of Hollywood's dark legacy would continue to challenge him at every turn. But now, armed with an unyielding determination and the courage to confront the shadows, Denzel Washington was ready to lead a revolution. A movement that would shake Hollywood to its very core and redefine the meaning of truth.